What up, people? Push Ball Black here with Push Ball Black Sports with the NBA preview. Well, 2 weeks till the NBA season hits, and I wanted to give my thoughts on the up and coming season. So, this is how this is going to go. I'm not going to give you a full league preview. There are other channels that do that. I suggest Legend of Winning for that. I'm going to just give you my top 8 for each conference, as well as my sleeper to make the playoffs for the conference. My conference finals picks and my finals and my championship pick. So looking at the East is about 4 deep with teams that we know are going to make the playoffs. The Cavs, the Celtics, the Raptors, and the Wizards. The rest of the East is a crapshoot because the Hawks, the Bulls, and the Pacers are down. And the Bucks, you never know what you're going to get with them, especially with the health of Jabari Parker. They're long, they can defend well, they have the talent to be the top third in the conference, but they're thin depth-wise and they're inconsistent nightly. Sometimes they can be really dominant and other times they don't know what they're doing on the court. So I have no choice but to give them 5th seed in the Eastern Conference just because I don't really know what they're going to be. Now, here's the difficult part. The next 3 spots, 6th, 7th, and 8th, could be considered sleepers since these teams didn't make the playoffs last year. But they've been consistent playoff contenders, so I'm not going to give them a sleeper tag. The first is the Charlotte Hornets, drafting Malik Monk to be a running mate for Kemba Walker, trading for Dwight Howard, and signing Michael Carter-Williams for depth. I see them finishing 6th. Dwight Howard is not necessarily going to have a breakout season, but if you can get a chance to skim the Lee Jenkins piece on him, Michael Jordan is kind of taking him under his wing as far as like philosophically telling him to play different, not as far as style, but as far as the way he's approaching the game. Don't play angry, play determined. So with those 3 additions, I think Charlotte is going to end up being in the playoffs. They might not be as good as the Bucks, but I do think they'll finish 6th and it might surprise some people. 7th and 8th, they weren't in the playoffs last year, but they again are playoff contenders, and that's Detroit and Miami. And I'm going to give Detroit the 7th seed just because Detroit has some veteran presence and Miami's like really, really young and you really don't know what they're going to be, but I'll get into that in a second. Detroit's biggest issue was health and chemistry. Can Bradley, Drummond, and Jackson put the Pistons back in the playoff hunt? I think so. Like I said, they'll finish 7th. Now for the Heat, I was really impressed with what Miami did last season. They missed the playoffs because the Bulls decided to show up the last couple of days, and they got in. But I like what Miami was doing. The biggest problem with Miami as a team is when watching them, you never knew who was going to end up finishing games. Not like finishing games like who was going to be in the game, but who was going to be, if they needed a basket, who was going to be able to score and get them the basket? Who was going to be their closer? So still, I don't really know who their closer is. Dragic can close. He can drive to the basket. Justice Winslow was a closer, or they gave the ball to him when he was healthy. So is he going to come back from that injury, and is he going to make the next step? But I think just because the Bulls and the Pacers are down and the Hawks are down, they got to be in there as far as the playoffs. So with them 3 not being my sleepers, technically, who is my sleeper? So my sleeper has to be Philadelphia 76ers. And that's pretty much everybody's sleeper to hit the playoffs. Philly, they have the talent of the Bucks, they have the length of the Bucks, and they can defend very well. Their biggest issue has always been health. They have Ben Simmons coming back. They have Joel Embiid coming back. They have Markelle Fultz. They drafted Markelle Fultz. So of all the talent that Philly has, is that going to be enough to sneak into the playoffs as far as like the 8th or even the 7th seed in the East? So if they stay healthy, they can be scary good as far as they defend and as far as the talent, because they can run people out the gym and they're kind of playing positionless basketball. So the Eastern Finals, there's really nothing to really talk about in there. It's the Cavs and the Celtics. Don't know how the Cavs rather. Don't know how the Cavs are gonna deal with that with all them guards, because LeBron James is a gigantic point guard. You got Derrick Rose coming back from an injury. You got Dwayne Wade. His knees are gone, and Isaiah Thomas won't be back till January. So you have enough scoring potential to, like, don't look at the names, because everybody's just assuming that, you know, the Cavs are going to end up winning the East. Well, the Cavs was going to win the East anyway. Like, as long as LeBron's there and you have enough scoring power to make up for Kyrie Irving, and Isaiah Thomas and Derrick Rose together fits that niche. And then you have Dwayne Wade. Like I said, I don't really know how that's going to go health-wise and rotation-wise, but you have enough scoring power to finish second or first in the East, depending on if you care. And then all the other talent is basically West. So it's the East. It's basically Cleveland's to win as far as the conference. And Boston, Kyrie Irving is going to see what he can do running a team. And that team is really, really young and really, really athletic. And Brad Stevens is really a good coach. But it's going to end up being Cleveland coming out the East. So, let's see here. So with the West, all right, so the Warriors are a lock. The Spurs are a lock. The Rockets are a lock. This is when it gets kind of mixed up. OKC is next. Now I said the Rockets are a lock. That doesn't mean they're going to finish third. OKC is going to finish third. Just because it's not that the Rockets have less talent than the Thunder. It's just, I don't know how Chris Paul is going to work within that system as far as with James Harden. I don't really know. They're going to cancel each other out as far as one of those two games are going to be affected. Like, James Harden was basically Steve Nash with a better scoring presence. I don't know how that's going to work with Chris Paul, because both of them are going to demand the ball, and they do the same thing. And Chris Paul isn't really a driver like James Harden is. And Harden's a better three-point shooter, and you lose Lou Williams coming off the bench because he's in Los Angeles. So I think with the OKC, I think they're going to end up finishing third. Plus, Houston they don't care about defense that much. So that's another thing where OKC is going to take an advantage a little bit. So they're going to finish third. Houston's going to finish fourth. So the LA Clippers are down. Utah Jazz are down. T-Wolves were my sleeper last year. I'm not going to put them in my sleeper this year because that'll be too easy. They're going to finish fifth with Taj Gibson, Jimmy Butler, and Jeff Teague with all that youth in the lineup. The Trailblazers, the Timberwolves, I'm going to go to the Trailblazers in a second. The Timberwolves have a closer in Jimmy Butler. Jeff Teague is going to stabilize the point guard position, and Tibbs is gonna have everyone else with a season under their belt, and the defense is gonna get better with Jimmy Butler and Taj Gibson, as well as Jeff Teague. So the defense is gonna get better. They're gonna finish 5th. They might end up getting a home court advantage depending on how the season's gonna go, but they're not gonna be my sleeper because that's really easy with all the stuff that they got. Plus, they got Jamal Crawford mixed in there. So that's going to be Jamal Crawford being a perimeter shooter and a good scorer off the bench. So they're going to be really, really good, and they're going to surprise a lot of people. Trailblazers and Grizzlies are 6th and 7th. They're always good enough to make the playoffs, but there's no, they always make the playoffs, but they never really get past like the lower half of the conference. And the Clippers, I don't trust the Clippers. I trust the Clippers less since Chris Paul's left, but I'm gonna give the Clippers the benefit of the doubt because Doc Rivers is a decent coach. I'm not gonna say good coach because he let his judgment of starting his son. He let his love of his son and trying to get his son an NBA career cloud his judgment. So now, because his son is going to start is going to be the point guard now. So with Chris Paul gone, I don't know how the point guard situation is going to be, but I give them the benefit of the doubt because they have Blake Griffin and they have DeAndre Jordan and they have that guy from Denver. I forgot that dude's name, or that guy's name is drawing a blank now. So they're going to finish 8th. My sleeper for the conference to make the playoffs is the Mavericks. Wait, what? The Mavericks? Yes, I said the Mavericks. Next to Tibbs, Rick Carlisle is one of the top coaches in the conference. Harrison Barnes surprised the heck out of me last year, and though he may not be the main option they're paying him to be right now, he's a good number 2, and he's still developing. Dirk may start, but Noel will finish because I heard Rick Carlisle and some other people saying that Dirk's gonna start. That doesn't mean he's gonna finish games. Noel is gonna finish games. Noel is motivated because it's a contract year. So they have a bunch of scoring guards. See, the issue with the Mavericks, because if you look at other people's like previews and other people's opinions of the Mavericks, if you look at the Mavericks, no one really knows what they are yet. So as of right now, Wesley Matthews is their main option when he's healthy, and he's a pretty good one, but has injury problems. And then when it's Harrison Barnes as the main option, he's still figuring out how to do that consistently. And you have Yogi Ferrell and Seth Curry. They had their moments last year, but the issue with them is who's going to emerge if Matthews gets injured as the scorer, as a scorer and the star of that team. That's why Dennis Smith is such a thing, because of all them guards, Dennis Smith is the one with the most athleticism, and Dennis Smith is the one that can probably, because how Carlisle sets up, because Carlisle will play 3 point guards in a lineup, and he'll have like a small forward as a power forward, and he'll have like a power forward as a center. He's like really good at small ball. He wasn't the first to come up with this. Don Nelson used to do the same thing with the 3-guard lineup. Carlisle perfected it. But like whoever comes out of like the main scorer with them to help Harrison Barnes is gonna, and I think Dennis Smith has the talent to do that. They have an opportunity to challenge the Clippers, because I think the Clippers are still going to be in the playoffs. But like I said, I don't trust the Clippers at all, and I think they have the talent to challenge a playoff spot. They finished 11th last season in the conference. They were in the playoff hunt for the majority of the end of the season. I think the last 2 weeks they kind of fell off. But yeah, I think once they figure out like who's going to be the main option, the fast break points that they were last in, it's going to get better because Dennis Smith is going to be on the court. So barring injury, I think they'll be a lot better than a lot of people say they'll be, and they may challenge for a playoff spot. They may finish ninth, or depending on the conference, they may go ahead and challenge for the 8th seed. Because really, once you get past the normal playoff contenders, and it is a stat conference, but once you get past the big playoff contenders, like the top 5, everybody else is kind of like mixed up in a big bag of randomness. So I have no doubt that if somebody has a crazy season consistently, then the Mavericks might challenge for a playoff position. Okay, so nothing really big as far as the conference. The conference finals, Golden State will more than likely get in the conference finals. As far as who they're gonna face, it will be, just because I think that Houston and Minnesota are gonna beat each other up in the first round if it ends up my predictions, and Golden State and whoever comes out of that series is going to be the best. The semis in that conference is going to be the best of that conference. And then if it ends up being OKC being third, then probably it'll be OKC and it'll be Golden State. Golden State wins in 6, and then it'll be Golden State and Cleveland. Golden State wins in 6. So Golden State will defend their NBA championship in 6 games against the Cleveland Cavaliers after Cleveland beats Boston in 7 games. So that's pretty much it, y'all. That was my preview or my thoughts about the season. Anyway, leave comment, like, and subscribe to the channel if you watch it. And I will holler at you guys later. Pushing while black out. Peace.